A couple things you're gonna need. First one, I recommend going with the AMSOIL Severe Gear SAE 75.9. You get it from the AMSOIL website. You can get an account. You actually get a discount. It's cheaper than getting it in town. This is 1 quart or 2 pints. You're gonna need 3 of them. So get 3 quarts. So you may be asking, why do I need to do the differential fluid? Well, let me show you. We are on the AMSOIL website. As you can see, I brought up the 2019 Kia Stinger all-wheel drive. That's what I got. So you'll have 2 different fill sizes. This one here is without limited slip, 2.7 pints. And if you've got limited slip, you're gonna need 3 pints right there. So do you have a limited slip or not? You got to do your research. I will tell you, most all-wheel drives, if not all of them, do not have limited slip. They are without limited slip. And most 2-wheel or rear-wheel drive Stingers have limited slip, unless you got an early one like an 18. Then it was an option, but I believe after 18 they all came standard with limited slip. So hey, you got to do your research and figure out whether or not your rear diff is going to take 3 or 2.7. That's up to you. That's on you. Now your front 1.5 doesn't matter. You're going to need 1.5 pints. Okay, let's do this gear loop swap. What you're going to need, 2 quarts. You're going to need a 24 millimeter. It's a 3/8 drive. I'm sorry, it's 1/2 inch drive. Hex 6-side and torque wrench. My theory is I'm going to dump it into this first, just because it's lower, it's easy to get to. I can take a look at it, but then I'm going to dump it in here to actually measure how much comes out compared to what the AMSOIL website says, which was for my car, non-limited slip, 2.7 quarts. So what I'm going to need, or 2.7 pints, what I'm going to need is one of these, which would be 2 pints, and then 0.7 of half of that, which would be 2.7 pints. I'll figure out the math later here in a minute, but I just want to show you the tools you're going to need. Pretty simple. 24 millimeter torque wrench and some buckets to dump your stuff in. Let's get to it. Alright, so I got the car jacked up. I'm just going to do this one side. It's more than enough to get to the drain and the fill plug. So I'm going to show you where that is. Hold on. Okay, so I'm underneath the car. I'm looking at the front of the car. Drive shaft leads that way. That's your drain plug right there. It's 24 millimeter. I'll try to keep this thing from flipping upside down, but over here on the driver's side, the driver's side, that is your fill plug right there, same size, 24 millimeter. And then down here, that's your drain right there. Okay, so I opted to take the fill plug out first. It wasn't hard at all. Just pop right out. Now for the drain, let's see what comes out of this thing. Oh, that is nasty. Yep, that is nasty. Okay, so there you have it. I'm going to pull this out here in a minute. We'll look at it in the daylight. Okay, so before I pull this oil pan out, I want to get this plug back in, but I had to show you guys. This is a magnetic surface on the drain plug. I want to show you what is on the inside of that differential. And that stuff just picking up off those gears, the differential gears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this thing up really good. We'll talk about the torque specs, get that back in, and I'll pull that old oil out and refill it. Okay, this is what came out of my rear differential after 21,000 miles. I don't know if you can see some swirls in there. None of that's good. None of it's consistent. It's probably a lot of metallic flakes. Just from the braking process, but just from running it hard. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this mud to see how much is actually in here that came out. Oh yeah. You can see, try to get out of the light reflection, all that stuff. Yeah, that's not good. Not good for your differential. So I'm glad I'm doing this. Alright. Alright, I don't know if you can see these markers, but just above my finger, that's 1 pint. That's 2 pint. And that's the 3 pint. So 2.7 is right about there. So I think what I pulled out is exactly what the manufacturers said goes in it. So 2.7 pints for the non-limited slip all around. Okay, so the way I decided I'm going to do this, I'm just going to mark off 0.7 of a pint in this container, which I did clean out really well. And just to give you an idea what the oil looks like new compared to what I just pulled out. Quite a bit of difference. All right. So what I'm going to end up putting in are those 2 pints, so that 1 quart, and that 0.7 right there. Okay, so I'm back under the car. I'm just going to do a practice run. I haven't cut the top of this yet, but I'm pretty sure I can get this up into that fill hole without getting too crazy. So, I don't know if you guys can see it in the hole. Oh yeah, that's going to work out perfect. I can just squeeze it in from here. So this is going to work. I probably won't video it, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut the top off this and go ahead and get the 2.7 pints inside. Okay, yeah, so that went really, really well. I got about 99% of that 2 pints in there, but that's okay if there's a little left because I'm going back at it. What I'm going to do is take this 0.7, I'm going to pour it in there and go back underneath and get the rest in. Okay, so Charlotte got her lube job. Not hard at all. In fact, it's quite easy. Oh man, I can't one-hand this, but anyway. Yeah, those are real differential. Even with video, it only took me like maybe 20 minutes. So well worth doing. You saw what came out of that differential. You guys know how I drive this car. So you drive it anywhere like me, you probably want to think about doing your differential lube. So we're going to go to the front next. All right, so I'm going to tackle the front next. Haven't been in it. Not even sure where the drain plug is or the fill is yet. The only person I know who's done it is Joel. What I do know is this clip has to come off, and it's on the passenger side, and I'm going to disconnect all the piping, the charge and the intake, just to get that out of the way. With the clip off, I'll probably pull that other black underskirt out so I can get at it, and we're going to check it out, so stand by. I'm just going to throw this extra in here, just I guess bonus footage. So what does Charlotte have? What runs an 1106? Nitrous intercooler. I got JA scoops. So I heat wrap everything, all the intakes and all the charge pipes. Keep the heat down. I even wrap the fuel. You want to keep your fuel away from the heat. That's just as important as getting cool air as getting cool fuel. I got the additional high pressure fuel pump from Spool. I think it's the 150. I also have the Fuel It kit back there, so I know how much ethanol I'm running. I run the dual W1 ad cans. I run in dual methanol nozzles, one with the BMS adapter, and then I welded that one in. I think I'm running like a 2 4s or a 6 and a 4 from Snow. T connector. Then down here I got another splice going into this intake, and then one going into this intake. So what do? Pre-turbo nozzles. I got 2 of them. They're like 1 gallon a minute. So pre-turbo nozzles, split, check valves, dual nozzles here, and pretty soon I'll have, hopefully, my direct port injection. Oh, and I also missed my external transmission cooler by Derail. It's got fans, also with the external transmission filter, so I can swap that out. It's a PS 3001, better filter for your transmission fluid. And I did put this in about a month or so ago. Man, did I notice a difference in transmission temps, to include the ATF that I put in there. I'm sorry, the AMSOIL I put in there. And it's good that I pulled this off to do the differential just to check. I haven't checked for leaks, but everything looks pretty tight. So no concerns there. Everything looks good. Okay, so we're back on the front differential. First, I got to say thanks to Joel for helping me, dialed in with a video to help me find this fill plug. Guys, it's not easy, man. This isn't a 1 hour project. It's going to take you a little bit, but it's worth it. So let me show you where the drain is for the all-wheel drives. Pull under here. The drain's real easy to find. It's also a 24 millimeter, and the drain is right. Where'd you go? Right there. 24 millimeter, not hard to find. So I'll be popping that and draining the fluid. Now the fill plug is the tough one. Let me start back up top. So the fill plug, you can see you're going to need like a 6-inch extension and a 3-inch to get down in there. So here's the alternator. It goes down below here, and how I found it was back underneath the car. With the flashlight, I stuck the flashlight up in this crevice and I pushed the extension into the fill plug. So I'm going to need a really long fill tube to get that 1.5 pints in, but I'm going to go ahead and knock that out now. Okay, so I got the front draining. That didn't look much better. Here's the plug with the magnetic. I just wanted to see what kind of smudge and guck comes off this thing. Oh yeah, that's gross. And that is what is in my front differential. Yep. All right, I'm gonna go pull that pan and put this thing back in, and I'll show you what the oil looked like. The fluid. All right, so this is what came out of the front differential. Let's see how much is in there. The book says 1.5 liter. We'll see what they got in here. Or pints, I'm sorry. So yep, there's 1 pint, 2 pints, so right in the half. So yep, it looks pretty close. I'm putting in 1.5. All right. I figured out what I was going to do. Front diff takes 1.5 pints. I've got it here. What I'm going to do is take that 1.5. I'm going to put it in this empty bag, and I'll show you how I'm going to fill it up using a tube and the nipple that comes on there. So stand by. Okay, so I managed to get this hose right here wiggled into the fill port. I'm not gonna lie, it ain't easy, it ain't fun, but I got it done. So what I'm gonna do now is just take that nipple, the hole cut in it. It's gonna go right onto that clear fill hose, and it's gonna dump it straight in. 1.5 pints. All right, let's finish up this video. It's been a long day. A couple things. Last notes that you're going to need. I totally forgot to mention, you will need a 10 millimeter hex like that to get at that fill port on the front differential. And a hose like this absolutely helped. I was able to stick that into the fill hole and use 1.5 pints there. And one more time. So the fill port, what you're gonna have to do is get your 6-inch and your 3-inch down here in this location, like that, and then underneath the car, you're gonna have to take a flashlight and look up where that thing is and just guide it into that hex. And oops, sorry, I was upside down. Sorry, the video was upside down. Yeah, so right where I got that thing, the extension, the 6-inch and the 3-inch, that's where you got to go. go back underneath the car, get your flashlight, and you'll be able to guide it in. You'll see that fill port. It's just a 10mm hex. And then just go ahead and break it out with your 3/8 drive. Stick your rubber hose in there, top it off, and now I got to put the car back together. But there it is. I hope this helps someone.